name is Matt. I'm a marketer. I identify as a gay man who is HIV negative and an advocate for HIV prevention. When I came out, HIV was always, if not in your face as a part of my day-to-day life, then always a footnote. You know, it's always been a part of conversations that I've had around safer sex, and I think that, you know, in our community, it's unavoidable. It's a part of the fabric of the lives of gay men, unfortunately. When I started my journey to learn more about HIV prevention and how HIV affected young people, you know, particularly myself, there were a lot of myths and there were a lot of things that were really scary about HIV. And for me, it was really a realization that if I wanted to get through that and to get over whatever fears that I had of people living with HIV, it would involve educating myself. Putting myself through a journey of learning more about HIV, more about HIV prevention, particularly PrEP. So PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis, is a medication that's actually been around for a number of years now. Only a couple of years here in Canada. It's a once-a-day medication that has been proven to be incredibly effective at preventing HIV, up to 99% effective when it's taken on a regular basis and taken with the proper care and speaking with physicians. When PrEP came along, it took a fair bit of time for me to kind of come around to the knowledge that it actually worked. You know, I was quite skeptical to begin with, but as I started to go through the science, I realized that PrEP not only worked, it worked incredibly effectively, and that, you know, for some people, PrEP is an effective method of prevention on its own. For other people, they team up with both condoms and PrEP. But, you know, in my wheelhouse, I see PrEP as a tool for HIV prevention, and I see it as a tool that can be used by people that aren't just young gay men. When I started PrEP, I was fielding death threats on Grindr. I was very out there about it. The day after I started, I called my mother and I said, "You're going to see me speaking a lot more on social media about HIV prevention because this is something that I really care about." I think, you know, leading into this really big discussion about stigma and how we eliminate stigma, it all comes from having the right facts and the right knowledge and it being presented in a way that's completely non-judgmental. You know, what people do with the knowledge that I give them about PrEP is their own business, but I think it's responsibility of people like myself and others that are educated to make sure that people have the facts to begin with, and that when they have those facts, that they're making a decision for themselves and themselves alone. To this day, you know, when somebody takes the opportunity to share their status with you, I always say, "Thank you for sharing that with me." It's difficult for people to do that, and regardless of the circumstances, you should always acknowledge that. This Valentine's Day, I would love to let every person living with HIV out there know that there are people that see beyond HIV and that the world is changing, and that along with it, it's taking a whole new generation of thinking, of science, of technology, and creating, you know, hopefully a future that looks much brighter than what we've experienced so far. But there's always somebody out there to rely on.